What's going on, everybody? Y'all know who this is. This is your god brother, none other than Michael T. Johnson the second. How y'all feeling tonight? How y'all feeling? How y'all feeling? How y'all feeling? What's going on? Shout out to y'all on TikTok, on YouTube, on Facebook, on my Instagram. All of them are streaming right now. We were down for a little minute, and we got this equipment back working, and I'm so excited just to be back, man. This is my first stream live in probably like a week and a half, and as you can see, I'm really excited. So we about to get right into it, man. I'm not gonna hold y'all too long because I want to get home by 10 o'clock. Let me change my lighting around a little bit so I can actually make sure we got the right vibe, y'all. If you are from Facebook, if you're from TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, whatever it is, man, just throw something in the chat. Just put here, I'm here, something, man. Just let me know where you at. Yo, it's so crazy. Shout out to hashtag this me. Said the first time I've seen your live, and he was on a For You page, man. Shout out to you. Hope you stay tuned, and you're about to get something out of this. If you are not familiar with this channel, my channel is Faithful and Fresh, and I have a Patreon group that I have, which is called The Faithful Few. What it do, y'all? And what we do is we just make sure that we're getting your being together so you can get your doing together, so you can get your having together. If you don't know necessarily what that means, that's why you need to be a part and subscribe or add. And this is why you also need to be a part of my Patreon group. But we are making sure that we're doing the inside work so that everything on the outside can match, which is the reason on why I wanted to get in here and talk about a specific topic that's near and dear. And it almost had me ranting, y'all. I ain't gonna lie. It almost had me about to rant. And the reason of why I was about to rant is because I've kind of been getting a little bit more and more disturbed with broke people, average people, below average people making their life look like something or giving advice as if they have an outcome and they don't. And there are so many people that are miserable, and I don't want to sound like a hater coming out the gate, but it has affected our culture so much. And right before I get into that, the fragrance of the day was Killian's Blue Moon Ginger Dash. I actually did a video tutorial, not a video tutorial, a review on it on my YouTube page, man. It was like the second review I ever did, man. And so it was just so cool to be able to, kind of go back and wear it. I haven't worn it in a while, and obviously I got a candle with this black honey fragrance for just tonight, since it's about 9:35, 9:40. So Kaylee in the Content Casino, which is Josiah, what's happening? It's, one of my business partners. And if you are on Facebook, like I said, or YouTube, make yourself seen by saying something in the chat. So if you have read the title, or if you haven't seen it, if you just jumped on, if you just swiped, or however you done got to me, the topic, the central focus today is this: why are you begging to be broke/broken? Why is it that you're begging? Now, you might be a person that's saying, yo, listen, God, brother, I ain't begging to be broke. It's just a hand that was dealt. I ain't begging to be broke. I'm really working hard. but we're going to go through a couple points to be able to show why you might be begging to be broke or maybe even broken. So let's get straight to it. All right. And where this came from was that me and my guy Josiah went out, to eat the other day, and we were just talking about a bunch of different things. And we ended up getting onto this conversation. I was just like, man, there's so many people that are begging to be broke. There's just so many people begging to be broken. Yo, if y'all on TikTok real quick, make sure y'all smash those likes, man. Get these likes up. Yeah, get these likes up if you're on TikTok. And what ended up happening was I started getting kind of annoyed because I work in the educational space. I work also in the entrepreneurial space. And then I do social media. And what my whole goal is to serve you and make sure that you can have the best life that you can have. I've married, have 2 children, I've been married for 8 years now, 2 beautiful children. I'm not a baby daddy. I did a couple good things along this path, which have got me an outcome that is not just a one-off. I didn't get lucky. It was something so special about me. I actually followed a system and a structure, and it gave me the outcome that I want. Just as well as you see this beautiful aesthetic is because I followed a blueprint that was provided for me. And this is part of it. And it's about understanding, are you begging to be broke? All right. So let's get straight to it. All of us have met somebody or have been that person that has wanted to be better, but every decision that they make is truly one step that leads to one day closer to being broke or broken and closer to being dead. All right. And what ends up happening is that whether it's that we got burnt by bad advice, whether it's that we have, been scared to take the advice of somebody else, whatever the thing is, we have kind of gotten to a place and where we're really kind of indirectly learning how to live life, right? And what's ended up happening is that we kind of watch somebody else. Okay, that seemed like it's cool. Let me try that. Oh, it didn't work. Okay, what should I do with this relationship? Hey, you should do this. Hey, maybe it didn't work. And throughout this process, what ends up happening is that we get closer and closer to being isolated, closer and closer to taking ideas that just come out of our mind, and we end up just doing them. And I'm getting my sound effects together right now. And man, one of the sound effects, I'm gonna let y'all in on it. This is a secret. Don't tell everybody. But one of the sound effects that I'm gonna have is a scene from Hitch, and Will Smith was in a relationship with this girl. And, he was pedestalizing her, and she was in the car kissing somebody else. And he's like knocking on the window. He's like, how could you do this? Well, I loved you. What did I do wrong? He's like trying to figure out what it is that he did wrong. And the dude that has his girl is like, bro, you doing it right now. And I want to take that sound effect because what happens is that we start taking impulses and starting to allow that to be our instructors based off of the information that comes from an impulse. And we have to stop doing that because we're not getting the outcome, the result that we really want. Thus is really why you're probably up at 9:40 on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Because right now, if you actually had your plan all the way locked in, guess what? You probably would be asleep right about now. Because there ain't really nothing open this late but eyes and legs, if you know what I mean. But if you do not know, I am a Christian. I am a follower of Jesus Christ. And so I have to give you some biblical foundations. I'm not a preacher. I'm not really preachy. I love practicality. I love winning, and I hate losing more than I even love winning. But the scripture I want to give you was Proverbs 14:12. And it says, there is a way that appears to be right, but in the end, it leads to death. There is a way in which we operate. All right. There is a way in which we operate that we haven't necessarily been taught how to do this from a person that has the outcome that we want. All right. And what happens is that, as I talked about earlier, as we're moving through impulse and emotion and we're allowing it to dictate our life, what is happening is that we're trying to figure out how come it seems like I'm doing everything I want to do, yet and still I'm not getting the things that I want to have. All right. Whatever the outcome and the result might be. I'm not going to sit there and judge you for whatever it is that you want. But nevertheless, we need to figure out what is it that I'm doing that it seems like is right, but it's leading me the wrong way. All right. And so I had this story, man. So I used to teach in Indianapolis. Shout out to you, Cold World. I see you. Hey, shout out to you, bro. I see you. I had this as a situation, and one of the things that used to happen in school was that when I worked at this high school, man, it had 2,300 students that went to this particular career center. And because I was one of the only minority male teachers at this school, I used to go into the front and greet all the students and give them fist bumps when they walked in. And I had a black assistant director that worked with me that actually helped me to get the job in Indianapolis. Shout out to Dale Sharp, the third specifically, my dog. And what ended up happening was, I think it was the first day of school or one of the first days in the week. And what happened was all these kids coming in. You can tell freshmen when you see them, man. If you work in education, let me tell you, you see the newbies when you see them on campus. And what happened? Kendrick, I see you, baby. What's happening? And what ended up happening was it was a student that came in and they got their schedule, right? And he's like, man, he's so like overtaken by this campus, man, because it's a big school. And so my dude Dale says, yo, man, hey, you need help finding your class. So he's like, yeah. So what he ends up doing is he tells him, hey, listen, go all the way down here. You see that green part on the wall? He says, yeah. He said, when you get there, take a left. When you take this left, he gives him this whole breakdown. And so as he gives him the whole breakdown, right on, Jesus. As he gives him the whole breakdown, what ends up happening is this kid gets the direction to his destination. And what ends up happening is that as this kid starts to walk the path, he sees a bunch of his friends. And guess what? They didn't ask him to come with him. He was already told the way to get to where he wanted to go. And because he seen his friend, he totally took a detour. All right, he totally took a detour and followed his friends on a path that had nothing to do with the path that he was so that he can get to the destination. And again, what this is about is so many times in our lives that there are people that have the outcomes that we want and we don't listen to them. And what is it that we do? We end up listening to people that do not have the information that we want. How many times, or I don't even want y'all to have to rat y'all family out, but man, let me just be real. Has there ever been a time in your life where somebody in your family don't make money, don't have money, or maybe had their quote unquote prime time of their life and it's no longer their season anymore, and they're giving you financial advice? Has there ever been a time where you had a cousin, an auntie, a dad, a mom, a grandparent? They've been through a divorce or two. Maybe they're a baby daddy. Maybe they got 2 or 3 kids. Maybe they're a baby mama. Maybe they're a deadbeat mom. Maybe they're a deadbeat dad. And yet and still, they want to tell you how to be that parent, that spouse, that worker, that financial. I don't know if I'm just that one, but let me tell you, I have had people in my life that I would never trade places with them to give, and they give me advice. All right. So why am I saying this? Is because it's important throughout this time that you continue to keep your focus in on people that have the outcome. Too many of us are looking for likable people to lead us. The people that you like are probably not going to be the best people to lead you. If you don't know this already, as I move to my next point, the majority of people are surviving. All right. The majority of people are living check to check. It's no knock to them. That's what the average person in America is doing. Go look at the statistics, whether you want to look at how much money people are making a year. I think it's around like 50 to 60,000 at the most. And now the scary thing is this, that $50,000 to $60,000 is the average earning salary or income inside of America. But every city and state does not have the same cost of living. I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm the only one that just really got this down packed. But let me tell you, there are a lot of people that are scratching and clawing, trying to make ends meet. All right. And they're hiding it really good behind a TRX. They're hiding it behind a Hellcat. But when you go back and look at their home, when you go and look at their accounts, they got air mattresses and air couches. They got a TV on a box and not an entertainment. It's crazy. All right. And the whole point of the whole thing I'm getting to is at this point is you have to, which is my next point, you have to allow disruption to become a part of your life at this place. If you are begging to be broken, if you are begging to be broke, you must understand that you need to allow disruption to be a part of your life. You're the person that's saying that you want to work out, you want to get in shape, but you won't go get a trainer. You won't go work out. You're the person that says that I want generational wealth and I want to, be able to leave a legacy for my family. Yet and still you won't get a financial advisor. You're the person that says that you want to get better rest because you can't sleep at night. You deal with insomnia, so you go and smoke weed or you go drink or you go take the edible so that you can go to sleep. Yet and still you just won't turn off the TV so that you can catch some Z's. All right. So we have to understand that there has to be some disruption. And the reason why I said, are you begging to be broke, is because if you don't allow disruption to break a pattern, a busyness of poverty that you might have, then at this point, you're going to keep trying to play it safe. So, man, I think I'm talking better than y'all liking, man. Oh, no. But you got to allow disruption. You got to allow disruption to, Mommy Grace, what's happening with you? You got to be able to allow disruption to be a part of your life. If you're not getting the outcomes that you like, it's important for you to be disrupted. See, the reason why we don't like disruption is because our associations to disruption is a negative. It has a negative association. When you hear about disruptions, what you usually think about is somebody trying to accomplish something and then somebody's talking or breaking their focus, or you're in class, and when you're in class and the teacher's talking, you're not supposed to talk. You're being disruptive to the course of the classroom. But in this case, when you're going a long way, the wrong way, you need disruption. You need distraction. You need something that says, hey, you know what? When it comes to my life right now, I don't like the outcome. When I look in the mirror, I don't like the person that I am. I'm buying clothes to hide this body part that I don't like. I bought the makeup to try to cover up this thing. I bought the weave. I'm using enhancements on my hair. I'm doing all of these things because I don't like it. But yet and still, you won't let somebody help you disrupt that pattern. You're waking up. You set your alarm at 6 o'clock. You snoozing, hitting snooze 3 and 4 times. And what is that doing? Starting to create a whole day where you're going to be just normal, average, maybe even below average. But the thing about it is this: you can't look for the majority or the masses of people to give you an education on how to be exclusive. All right. You can't look for the majority or the masses of people to give you coursework on how to be exclusive. You gotta be listening to VIP people. And when they're telling you what to do, like, let me give you a disruptive thing that I didn't even have this wrote down on my notes. I swear, I promise you I didn't. Let me give you what disruption looks like on a practical level. I just got done reading this book by Dr. Norman Vincent Peale. It's The Power of Positive Thinking. Now, I can tell you right now at this point that if you read this book, I can guarantee you that your life will be changed. let's say you're not into religion. You just want to just read a book that you want to just say, hey, I'm ready to get my business off the ground. I'm ready to be better. I want to get over this anxiety. I want to get over this fear. The Power of Positive Believing by Dr. Norman Vincent Peale is a profound, powerful book. But what's going to happen is you're going to start looking for that book. You might write it down. You might go on Amazon. You might go on your Apple Books. You might go on, Amazon Kindle or whatever the thing is, or Audible. You're going to do something like that. You're going to get the book, and you know what ends up happening? You won't allow that book to disrupt your normal programming, because you still got to watch BMF. You still got to watch Raising Canaan. You still got to watch, did I already say BMF or Scandal? You still, whatever it is, Walking Dead, whatever the show is that you got to watch, because this book, you had a great intention and you had poor execution. All right. And what ends up happening is that you don't allow this book to disturb you and disrupt your natural pattern. Yet and still, you know that you're working your soft. I want to say the word, but I just don't want y'all to hear it. You working your so that you can order food. You're working your butt off so that you can just pay bills. You're working your butt off and you can't save up $1,000. Not just put $1,000 in the bank account. I'm talking about really put $1,000 up where you're just not touching it. You just go on your normal flow. I know let me tell you something. I know I'm talking something. Y'all gotta tell me something, man. I'm on some light skin stuff, man. Y'all gotta let me know something, man. Y'all gotta let me know something, man. Woo! I ain't gonna lie, I feel like a Southern Baptist preacher right now. I don't know if y'all can see it right now, but I got a little sweat to me. But the issue is that we won't allow that person, when they say, hey, man, you gaining a little weight. If you ever want to come to the gym, come holler at me. Bro, I'll go with you. And you like, nope. Why? Because you're too busy begging to be broke and broken. It's interesting that the people that are, if you ever look at the x-axis, you always see that the people that are out of shape and broke and all of these other things, they're always the meanest, nastiest people. I'm not saying it's 10 out of 10, 100 out of 100, but usually you can see internal unhappy, unhappy internal feeling externally show and manifest. You usually, if you see that somebody is disturbed on the inside, a lot of times you can see it on the way that they handle themselves on the outside. Some of the most meanest, selfish people are those people that are broke, that are in survival mode, that are fat, that's scared, they're anxious, all of these things. Why? Because of the fact that they do not want disruption. They don't want to be accountable. They want to be comfortable. All right. And what ends up happening is that this comfortability is nothing but conforming to what everybody in the masses is doing. All right. There's a Bible scripture, I believe it's in Romans. I actually have it in my notes, but I just don't even feel like looking down. But the Bible scripture goes like this. Do not conform to the world, but let you be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Disruption is a beautiful thing when you take it to the face of God. All right. God uses disruption for elevation. All right. God uses disruption for elevation. Let me give you an example that I was talking earlier on one of my videos, and I want to share the same thing because I didn't even think about it till just now. Disruption. God was about to flood and destroy the whole entire world, right? And all of mankind. What did he do? He took Noah and he told Noah, build this ark. I'm going to flood. I'm going to do this. I want you to build this ark. That at that point disrupted everything Noah had going on to build this ark. And throughout this situation, God used this disruption to say, hey, you know what? I was going to do this, but you know what? Let me just go a different way. Noah built this ark. And from this, Noah's obedience. He didn't say, hey, God, I don't want to do what you want me to do. He allowed God's disruption to position him for elevation. Noah's ark that he was obedient to build not only helped Noah, it helped his family, and it also helped animals. And guess what? When you allow God to disrupt your life and what your plan is, and he tells you what his will is, what his plan is, when you allow that, all the other people, they're drowned out. All the other people, they're flooded out your life. It doesn't matter what they say. When people are trying to disrupt you from what God wants you to do, it won't make a difference. It won't make a difference. It won't make a difference. And so what I want you to understand at this point is that you have to allow people that have higher level mindsets or intelligence, and they have the outcomes that you don't have, to disrupt your pattern. If you're a person that is finding yourself not being able to break through certain financial thresholds, you need to be able to gain a different mindset on the way that you look at money. If you're single and you're trying to be married, you need to be able to talk to people that are married, that have success in marriage, and you take their mindset. I'm sorry, no disrespect to this young man, but young boy is not about to show you how to be a respectable husband. I know you like him. I know he make cool music. I know he articulates things that you just feel like nobody else can articulate it. But let me tell you, he's not going to be able to show you how to be a great husband. All right. That's not what he's marketing out to. That's not what he's trying to do. So at this point, you got to allow positive things to disrupt you. All right. And I'm glad I just said that, because I didn't even realize that took me into my next point. You have to. I'm gonna say this. I can be sometimes a lot, really, really, really direct, and I don't want to be as much as I try to say. But oh, you know what? Hold on. Did I just mess up my live? No, I didn't. Why did it show that I wasn't streaming? But I challenge you to stop trusting broke or broken people. How many? Man, I could go on and on about stuff like this, man. It's 9:58, and I said I was gonna be out of here by 10. But you have to. I challenge you. I urge you to stop listening to broken people. Sometimes it's going to be your mom, and sometimes it's going to be your dad. Sometimes you're going to be the first person that's actually trying to be wealthy or be wealthy and try and do things that get you wealth. There's going to be times in where you're not going to be understood by your family. You're going to do things that your family is just not going to understand. And they're going to try to counsel you. They're going to try and tell you, hey, if I was you, I wouldn't do this. Hey, why don't you think about doing it? But you never had a business. You never had a successful business. You never had a successful marriage. You were a baby mama or baby daddy before you was 25. Like all of these different things. And it might sound like it's judgmental. It might, but it's not. It's about looking at the outcomes and the results. And then this is where we have just got soft as a people. And we have now allowed funny, attractive, charismatic people to live our lives for us, or because we take their advice. And guess what? These people don't have a result that you want. All right. The Bible, again, a proverb scripture says this in Proverbs 13:20, says, walk with the wise and you become wise. But a companion of a fool suffers harm. All right. And so what I want you to do when I say that don't trust broken or broke people, you must understand this. You have to stop celebrating dysfunction. You have to stop celebrating dysfunctional people that have dysfunctional habits, limiting beliefs, self-doubt, low self-esteem. You have to stop celebrating it by putting yourself in their environment or allowing them into yours. You have to stop celebrating it. Because what ends up happening is that we start to get too familiar with being a failure. We start being too familiar with even having failures. And what ends up happening is that this familiarity starts to breed a level of comfort. And if you ever want to hear a word for, if I want to sum up what a slow death is mediocrity. Mediocrity is another word for slow death. You see a mediocre person, let me tell you, they're slowly but surely inching closer to death. Inching slowly but surely to death. Why? Because they've become so familiar with the people that say, match one. They're so familiar with the people that say that they're ready to go take a trip when they don't have their retirement, they don't have their emergency fund set up, they don't have an investment portfolio, they don't take care of their kids, yet and still they're going to travel. They're going to travel. But you're now you feel pressure to go take a trip when they do. And you know you ain't set up like that. But what would you do? You would go ahead and try to, because you're so familiar with being broke and you're so familiar with being mediocre that you won't allow yourself to be disrupted, because that disruption requires discipline. All right. So I want you to be able to understand that if you truly want to actually, quote unquote, beg to be successful or beg to be whole, you must understand that you need a, quote unquote, a life doctor, a life coach. If you broke your arm right now, would you go to your mom? Would you go to your dad to help fix you? If you were going through emotional, mental things, would you go to somebody that wasn't licensed and expect them to really actually solve your issue? I don't care if they got the same blood as you. They're not a professional. So many people waste their lives listening to advice from people that have no proof and proof of concept. They have no evidence where they can say, hey, this person listened to me and they got this result. But there's so many people in our family that are ready to be pro bono coaches, pro bono doctors, pro bono consultants, and they're ready to tell you what you should and shouldn't do free of charge. And guess what? All it does is put you into a hamster wheel, or if you want to, chasing your tail. So many of us throughout the social media era have got so comfortable with listening to 10, 20 different reels throughout the day that motivate us, that stir us up a little bit. And then after that, it goes away and then we don't do the work. All right. And I get it. I don't know how powerful my words are to you. I don't know. I got 35 people on TikTok. I got some people on Instagram. I got some people on Facebook. And I got some people on YouTube that's watching me. I don't know exactly how my words are hitting for each individual person. But what I can truly say is this, because I understand the law of large numbers, is this. Most of you are not without the answers. You lack the desire to actually truly be better. It's not, I can probably be saying stuff right now, and you can probably love my aesthetic, think that this is cool. Listen, oh man, cool set. Man, this kind of look like kind of how Kevin Samuels had it, or well, let me switch my Anderson. I said Kevin Samuels. You might be like, hey, maybe he got a cool angle. He got this and that. And you're just like, but I know everything that he's saying. But guess what? Why isn't it then that you have an outcome that is like mine? Why isn't it that you have the money that you are supposed to have if you know the stuff that I'm talking about? Because you lack desire. And so many people throughout this time, they're looking for a meme. They're looking for a reel. They're looking for a motivational speech to save their entire life. When the reality is that you've just created an environment that's not is not nutritious for you to build muscle, for you to build the lifestyle that you want. All right. And I get it. You're probably down on yourself. You're very, very good at being critical of yourself, but you're not really, really good at celebrating yourself. And this comes back down to self-esteem, which if you want more content like that, go into my Patreon, sign up. I promise to God, my whole story is coming from a place of insecurity to having securities, and not only in a mental, emotional space, but also in a financial space. But James 1, chapter 1, verse 22 says this: do not merely listen to the word so that you deceive yourself. Do what it says. The issue is that there are so many people that do not have the outcome or the result. Not that I think that you should have, but that you say that you want. Yet and still, you have the pride of a multi-billionaire, but you don't even make $50,000, $60,000. But yet and still, you have a pride as if nobody can't tell you anything about what you're supposed to fix. But you're broke. But you're out of shape. But you're living check to check. But you can't tell me nothing, bro, because listen. You might not like my tone. You might not like my delivery. But if you're saying, hey, I want to make $100,000 plus. If you're saying, hey, I would like to dress more masculine. Hey, I would like to be taken more serious in business. Hey, I would like to improve my intimacy with God. If you're saying that, hey, I want to figure out how to go from boyfriend, girlfriend to being married. Hey, I don't want to be a baby mama or a baby daddy. Hey, I don't want to be giving my body up cheaply and acting like my body is inexpensive and just giving it to anybody. Well, do what I'm saying. If you don't, I'm not tripping. Find somebody that either has a better outcome than I do and then listen to what they say and then do it. The reality is that you're doing something that somebody's telling you to do and you're not getting the outcome that you want. Somebody's telling you what time to come to work. You're going to go to work. And guess what? You don't even want to retire from the job that you're working at. Most people are not even working. If I ask you right now and say, hey, are you working a job right now that you want to retire from? Most people are going to say no. But yet and still, they tell you what time to come to work. They tell you how long you get on break. They tell you what days you can and can't work. They telling you when you can and can't go on vacation. No matter what's going on, somebody dies. They're telling you how many days that you actually can grieve this loss. Hey, if you go through an injury, they're telling you how many sick days you can and can't take. They're telling you what to do and you're not getting a result. So why not be able to choose the coach that you want so that you don't have to worry about being broke, nor do you have to worry about being broken? So I want to be able to recap. Understand, one, where am I at in my life? Am I actually begging to be broke by the way that I'm behaving day to day? Not just when you actually ask the question and then you answer it. I'm talking about if you look at your life day to day, can you say, you know what? If I keep this up, I'm going to continue to be broke. Well, if that is the case for you, you need to allow someone that has successful results and outcomes to disrupt the pattern because you're going the wrong way. All right. And because of that disruption, understand that if you allow God to do it through me or to somebody else that you select, I can promise you this, that disruption is going to lead to a destination of elevation. That sounded so kind of corny, but it was so good. And I don't know where that just came from, but that was good. That was worth at least 5,000 likes up on my TikTok. That was at least a 5K like, but I'm not tripping. All right, so the thing is that where do we go from this? Man, you done told me about how I'm begging to be broken. You done told me about how all these people ain't making money. You done told me about this and that. All right, the reality is this. As corny and cliche as it might sound, you are not waiting on God. God is waiting on you to allow him to have full reign and range over your life. He is not going to usurp your free will. And most of the time, what I have to always dial back on is saying this: Mike, don't get mad when these people don't choose you to help them have a great life, because they're not choosing God. So how could you be mad? I don't even want somebody to choose me. You won't even choose God. So my whole point is to hopefully be a signal, a sign to point you back to God or help you get back there. If I have to be a tour guide to help you along this life so I can help you to get to where it is that you want to be, I will be that, and I would love to do it. But I am not going to sit here and say at this point, you should choose me, and you're not even choosing what God wants you to do it. So if you are actually ready to stop having a broke life or a broken life, then you got to prove it. You got to let your routine match your request. If you are praying for God to give you a spouse, you gotta start knowing how to be able to handle a blessing like that. If you want God to give you money, you got to start doing those things to handle that to steward that type of money. And that's a video I'm gonna end up doing later on. But that's pretty much a lot of what I had down. I had this point down. It's not really worth saying a lot of times, but just for the sake of when I get this edited and chopped up, do not be allergic to improvement. All right. Do not be allergic to improvement. A lot of times you get some people that are so rebellious against improvement. And then there's some other people that when they try to improve, they try to do it in an isolated fashion. And what they try to do is they try to do everything by themselves. They try to, try to do isolate because they think that other people will carry them down or hurt them or bring them down. But what that really actually is that there are a lot of people that just don't know how to build up healthy community. They don't know how to be a friend. They don't know how reciprocation goes. So there are some people that they're just a rebel when it comes to refining and rebuilding or reinventing. And then there are some people that improve only through isolation. My whole thing is that you can be a champion by doing it through community. Throughout community, you have accountability, you have experience, you have a whole bunch of different things. You have people that understand where it is that you come from. They understand sometimes what places you're at, and they can tell you if you continue to go, you will end up finding this thing. So that's what I wanted. Don't beg to be broke when you can request to be rich. Don't beg to be broke when you can request to be rich. All right. The Bible says that you have not because you ask not. How many things that could be better in your life only if you earnestly would ask God to have those things? That's all I got for right now. I appreciate everything that y'all have done on this live. I appreciate everybody that slid through. To all the people that have watched, that are still watching or anything, please make sure that you follow my TikTok. What that does is allow me to know that people actually value this content, and it actually lets me know some analytics and some things so that I can find out if this is the content that you guys want on YouTube, by you liking, by you sharing, by you subscribing, turn on your bell notifications. This allows me to know that this is content that you actually want. If I don't see it, then I think that you guys don't want to see these lives on TikTok or YouTube, on Facebook or Instagram. And so I end up just sticking to other type of content in other different places. So that's all I got. I appreciate y'all. I'll catch y'all next time. But until then, stay faithful, my friends. Peace.